Hi designers! So it's finally time to design your very own t-shirt. This is the project that you've been looking forward to since the very beginning of graphic design, and it's finally here. Just a preview, you can see here the two designs that I've made. You will also be making two designs, even though you're only creating one t-shirt. One will be a shirt for girls and the other will be a shirt for guys, and then you'll end up going on to print out and actually make just one of those, but I want you to have the practice of making both. And so here you can see the two designs that I've done. The other note that you need to know about this project is that you need to bring in your own t-shirt. This is the best way for you to get a t-shirt that fits you and is the cut and the style and the color that you want. You can bring in any type of t-shirt. You can actually bring in a long sleeve tee, a sweatshirt, a tank top, a zipped up hoodie, whatever fits your design idea. But you need to bring that in by April 16th, as you see here on MyOlu. Today, what you're going to be doing is coming up with your idea for the shirt. And so you can see here on both designs, I've used an image, some pattern or texture in the background, and an inspiring text. And I'll talk about that a little bit more. If you look here on MyOlu under 9.1, you'll see some information about Illustrator. We're going to be using a different program for this just because I want you to know what Illustrator is about. And you need to read this, but basically, if you remember back when we were working with paths and the pen tool in Photoshop, those are vector-based objects, and that means that you can size them and make them any size that you want them to be, and they won't get pixelated. And that's how Illustrator works. Everything that you make in Illustrator is made up of anchor points and paths, and you can make it any size, from a business card all the way up to a billboard, and it won't get pixelated. And that's the really cool thing about Illustrator. It does work a little bit differently than Photoshop, so I'll be showing you some of those things today. You'll be using a few new tools, but it's really simple what we're doing with this project. So for your inspiration, you're going to be using images that designers share. They're called vector packs. They're similar to custom shapes that you might make, and designers will share these for free. They don't violate copyright for you to use them, just like custom shapes don't violate a copyright. And designers use them to create quick, really cool looking designs. And so for this design, you're going to need a main image, and I'll show you how to find these in just a second, some inspiring text, a background texture or a pattern, and then color schemes for both the girls' tee and the guys' tee, and then you'll write a little explanation at the bottom explaining your idea. So for my t-shirt, what I actually did is I started with Google and I searched for free vector packs because I didn't know what inspiring quote or inspiring verse that I wanted to use. And you can see I just went to this website and I started looking through the different vector packs. And spend some time looking. There's a lot of cool stuff out there. And when I got to, let's see if it's on this page, right here. When I got to the shoes, it made me think of the verse in Romans that says, "Beautiful are the feet of those who carry the gospel." And so I decided I wanted to use these shoes. And so it's very easy. You just click on it. You might have to go through a couple websites. You look for the link that says free download, and then you install it. So right here, download Vector Resources freebie. Don't give your email address. Don't sign up for anything. You should be able to download it for free. You can see right here, you could join some membership. Don't do that. Just go ahead and download it. Should be free. You shouldn't have anything else that you need to do with that. And then you'll need to go to your downloads, which mine are right down here on my menu tab. If you don't see this, you can open any Finder window, and it should be, your downloads should be here on the left-hand side. You might need to change it to date added. So it should be showing up right here at the top. I don't know why it's not. Oh, it's in this folder. If I could get it to open. There we go. And then what you'll want to open is the .ai. That's the Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator file. When you open that up, you will have your vector pack here, and you can see as I scroll my mouse over these, all of the paths are being highlighted. And I'll show you just a second how to work with those. So you need a main image. You also need a pattern or a texture. So continue looking through the different lists. You might go to a couple different websites. And just find something that inspires you. You might like something with, I wouldn't recommend something with color, just because you're going to be using your own color scheme. So look at the shapes. You might like dots or rings, or there's paint splatters, there's doodles, there's all kinds of stuff that you could use. And it all needs to go back to your text. And like I said, once I saw the shoes, I knew that the verse in Romans is what I wanted to use. If you think of a Bible verse but you can't remember the reference, you can use another Google search to find the reference, or you can use something like crosswalk.com. It doesn't have to be a Bible verse. If we go back to Mailu, your text needs to be positive, clean, and concise. It can be a positive quote from a famous person, something out of your favorite book, a poem. Unfortunately, it can't be song lyrics, because if you made a t-shirt with song lyrics, that would make it a band shirt, which is against dress code. So we just want to stay away from that. But any other kind of inspiring text you could use. So you could start with your inspiring text, or you could look through the images first. This is not a linear process. You can go either way. But by the end of class today, you should have those things put together. Let me just show you in Illustrator. Once you have your vector pack open, you're going to also open another new file. It should be set on letter, and you probably want it portrait, which is just the default. Make sure you put last name, first name. This is Tshirt Resources. And then you're going to use the selection tool, should look familiar. This is very similar to the path selection tool in Photoshop, to select the image that you want to use. In this case, I'm going to select all three, because at the beginning I didn't know which image I was going to use. I'm going to copy. I can either Command C or come up to Edit, Copy, go over to my document and paste, Command V or Edit, Paste, and then just arrange this. And you can do this also with your texture. And then you'll use the Type tool, which works very similar. The options are a little bit different, but we'll get into that later, to just add this source in there. The last thing, the other tool that you'll need is the rectangle tool to make your color schemes. And colors work a little bit different. There's no paint bucket in Illustrator. So you can drag out the rectangle, and then to change the color, it's up here on the options bar. And you have these different swatches, or over here on the right hand side, you should have a little paint palette. And you can double click on the color, and then you get something that looks, a color picker that's similar to Photoshop, to where you can pick the color and it will change the color for you. If you want to save that color, you can come back up to your options and you can actually add that swatch so that it'll be there again. So that's how you'll make the two color schemes here. You need to limit it to a 3-color or a 4-color scheme. I don't want all kinds of crazy colors. And then in your explanation, you need to explain why you chose that color scheme. Actually, you need to explain why you chose each one of these. And put that together in a paragraph, and then you're going to be turning in this Illustrator file. If you have extra time, you can actually practice coloring one of your images. So I'm just going to make this shoe bigger here to show you. And to color the different sections of this shoe, you're going to use the direct selection tool, which will just select one of the paths on the shoe. And again, up here on your options bar, you have the color options, you have the swatches, or you could come over to the color palette, double click, and change the color. Okay, so that's what you can work on today. I'll be coming around to talk to you about your t-shirt idea.